Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
I'm all ears. I'm hoping that there's an explanation. I can't imagine what it would be.
Answer your question of what is his case, negligence. Just pure, I had no idea what was going on.
So it sounds to me like they were ready to cut him, and then the Patriots reconsidered. From what she said.
That's what she said.
And he's not going to have Rose Capaccio standing next to him when he talks to us after a training camp practice.
She might be
Or
here.
Guy Fieri, as some call it.
Right. A little humble brag. I was doing the TV show Friday night with NBC Sports Plus. Obviously, 7 other people canceled because I got the call on Friday.
But Garoppolo, like, which letter is double?
I have a mnemonic device for that. He has 2P. 2P. Garoppolo.
So,
Yeah. That's how I always remember it. He has to pee.
What goes on in that
There's
mind?
2 P's.
Does that
There's
have
2
anything?
P's. There's
I
2
blame
P's and Garoppolo
I
in the
blame
middle.
you.
No,
but I
it's
really
'cause-
do think he spells his name incorrectly.
Oh my gosh.
Because polo is Italian for chicken, right?
But why does it have to be that it's supposed to be chicken?
Polo. It's chicken
That's 2 P's.
in Italian.
I know what it means.
Ryan in Dublin. Paul said on Thursday's show that he hopes Jack Jones pops off this coming year. I'm pretty sure this wasn't the pop he was thinking of.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium, and we're talking Patriots for the next 2 hours. It's Tamara, it's Evan, Paul, myself. Deuce is in L.A., soon to be in Hawaii. I was corrected. I said he's on his way to Hawaii. No. Tamara jumped down my throat.
I did
Wow.
not.
She always does that.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
But he is beginning the journey, which will eventually end up in Hawaii, so with his family. So good for him. But we're here. We're
Too
talking
bad.
Patriots.
I could have used his Marcus Smart trade analysis.
I was
'cause
actually
he's so
about
into
to,
the Celtics.
I was about to say I don't think that we're about to be talking Patriots for 2 hours because for the past 15 minutes I've listened to you guys just talk about the Celtics.
And Red Sox.
And Red Sox.
But we don't. Yeah,
The
we
teams
don't
that are actually relevant.
That's why
to
we do
this
that
time.
off air.
Right.
So
Well,
we have
it-
time for the Patriots on
It truly is the dog days of the NFL right now. No new, the Jack Jones thing. Thank God for the Celtics trade because that kind of knocked Jack Jones off the airwaves. But right now, there's nothing really to talk about with that situation because the next thing is really training camp. Does he come? Does he report? What's the Patriots' next move regarding this? And it's just a wait and see kind of thing.
Do you think there'll be some kind of news regarding that situation between now and camp?
With the Patriots? Yeah, no. Do you mean from the Patriots side, the NFL side? What do you mean? Any side?
Any side. Any
No.
furthering of the Jack Jones situation between now and camp?
I don't think.
I think there will be. I don't know what it is.
Oh, you don't?
I think something will, either Goodell will chime in, the Patriots will suspend him, they'll release him, or
Do you think-
something will come out, in terms of what the case.
Yeah.
But do you think that the Patriots, if it's a team suspension, we're never going to hear about it until we get out there at training camp and he's not there?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think someone will know.
So you think it'll be reported, but it's not. We're not.
Like
the
we
Patriots
didn't-
are not going to say.
Like
we're
we didn't
suspending them.
find out last year that Jake Bailey and Jack Jones got suspended because we went out to practice and they weren't there. Like people reported on it.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
someone, it won't be me.
Yeah. I think
I'm not a
Well,
good
but
reporter.
if we get to training camp and Jack Jones isn't on the field, the Patriots have told him you can't be here.
Right,
Yeah.
but I'm saying between now and camp,
Yeah, I
I think there'll be something that comes up, some kind of update to the story.
See, I don't think so.
really.
Yeah.
I feel like they won't release him until that August 18th date because until something is definitely set in stone, I feel like I wouldn't see them releasing him. But suspension I could definitely see.
Yeah, I think they'll wait to get all the facts out. And
Yeah, and I think when they get the facts, we'll
Yeah.
have an update on the story.
Yeah.
And I don't think that will take till August 18th.
Okay.
I would just be really. I'm trying to think of scenarios where it makes sense for the Patriots to put him on the practice field in training camp, and I'm hard pressed to find a reason for that. I think mainly because then it becomes a monumental distraction that he's out there, and kind of a secondary to that, he's got to talk at some point.
Well, let's
So-
say this. Let's say they get the facts, the facts are good. The facts are favorable to Jack Jones.
Right.
So you put him
Right.
out there knowing the facts, and then you tell Jack Jones, when you become available, you can't talk about it. You can't.
Well,
talk
legally,
legally,
right.
all
but-
you have to say is, I'm not,
Right.
I'll have my day in court, but I'm not talking about it.
That was Deshaun. I feel like he
Yeah.
was still showing up to practice before he was able to
yeah,
speak.
yeah.
I just
And
don't
we
know.
got constant updates every step along the way.
Yeah, I just don't know if
can't
that's
believe
worth
that in
that.
the next 5 weeks
Yeah.
you're going to get nothing.
Yeah.
I just don't know if
Yeah,
that's
but
worth
with
it for this
Deshaun,
team.
you had women coming out. That was different.
And he was talking.
I know, but other people were advancing that story besides him. This is
Well, that's what I'm not saying the Patriots are going to be responsible for the furthering of the
no,
story.
no. I know.
I mean, just, hear me out here. But I have a feeling that the lawyer is not just going to go quietly into that good night based off what I heard the other day.
well, I don't think
Tuesday.
I don't think she's going to say anything until it's time. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. No one knows.
I think she wakes up yelling at people.
I think that unfortunately, and this is sort of what Rose Capaccio was getting at, and I'm not going as far as she went and saying that people were calling him a thug and a gangster and stuff like that. I don't know how much of that I actually really saw. But regardless of that, the court of public opinion is, especially on social media, is just so instant and so strong that regardless of if there's great evidence that supports his claim that he had nothing to do with this, some people have already made up their minds.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And I just don't know how you avoid that being even if the evidence comes out, even if the case gets dropped, between now and August 18, which is not. But I'm just saying, in theory,
That would change my mind.
Would
Dead
it?
serious. If the case was dropped, like the state didn't think they had any, it's a federal crime, right? I would
Yes.
think in an
It
international
is.
Yeah.
international airport, if they dropped the charges because they didn't think anything was there, that would certainly shut me up and change my mind.
so maybe that. What if he pleads out?
That wouldn't change my mind.
Right. So this is my point, though, is that we all have an opinion on it. We're kind of paid to have an opinion on it, but other people have an opinion on it just in general. And I find it hard to believe that there's going to be a resolution that's going to put the Patriots in a good light
Yeah,
if
I
he's
don't-
out there for training
Yeah,
camp.
I don't think it'll be a resolution necessarily. I just think that we're going to get more of the attempt to sort of obfuscate the facts
Yep.
that we got on Tuesday.
Well,
Like, don't pay attention to this court case over here. Look at Twitter.
Yeah.
And someone found, like, in the span of, like, 5 days and, like, hundreds of thousands of tweets, 4 people used the word thug
Right.
or
Right.
something like that.
no, that
Like,
was definitely a tactic on his.
Oh yeah.
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 But so we don't have any more information since Tuesday. So we'll move on to other things. But when it comes to the Patriots, there aren't a lot of other things. I do think we're going to announce the first few days of training camp today. I don't know if we've done it yet, but look at, keep up with Patriots.com today, because I think there'll be a training camp announcement as to when the first 3 or 4 days of practice will be.
Who are your sources, Fred?
Well, I work here.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long were you
The
holding
source.
that out?
The source is Fred.
Yeah.
Source is me.
No, I know
Fred
they're
Kirsch.
working on it. Just, so check Patriots.com today. That'll be announced today.
Not necessarily anything new here in terms of news, and we've talked about heading to Green Bay and Nashville to do joint practices. We've sort of speculated on that. The Globe actually wrote it as fact, and I'm not sure that had been
Yeah.
sort of announced by the Patriots or Green Bay. I think Tennessee did, because I think Vrabel did say something about
Yeah.
the plans to do joint practices with Tennessee.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen anybody do that for Green Bay. But the Globe wrote it earlier in the week that's happening.
Yeah.
The Patriots are going to be joint practices in Green Bay and in Nashville.
Don't you think it's unlikely that we'll have 3 joint practices? With
No,
3?
it's 2.
Oh, okay.
So
Green
they
Bay and
so,
Tennessee.
So
Okay. So
Bill
not with the other
confirmed
team.
Tennessee.
Okay.
When he was asked about Vrabel going into the Patriots Hall of Fame, he confirmed that he said, like, we'll be working with the Titans and we're looking forward to that. So that one has been confirmed by both head coaches now. I didn't know that the Packers one was official.
I agree. I hadn't seen anybody from the Patriots or the Packers say that. But
Yeah.
in the Globe, I want to say on Wednesday, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, it just was written, not citing the source, just written matter-of-factly. Now, I think it's correct. but I hadn't seen that announced by anybody. The first game is against Houston, Fred. There are no joint practices scheduled for that.
So
that we know of.
the Packers game is on a Saturday, right?
Yeah.
So my question is usually it's 3 practices with one team and only 2. Like usually they don't do back-to-back weeks of 3 full practices of joint practices, I feel like. So I just wonder how they stagger that. And then because if we're going to do 3 practices with the Titans, that game's on Saturday, the Packers game. Are they going to turn the plane right around and go down to Nashville a day later? Like how, that's going to be an interesting little scheduling time crunch there of how exactly they're going to stagger this.
Saturday is Green Bay, then
because they play Tennessee on Friday.
Right.
So they want to fit in.
If you go home, so you would go home Saturday night, Sunday morning, and then, treatment, whatever. Monday, if you fly to Nashville for practices Tuesday
and Wednesday. Right.
Thursday would be a walkthrough day, and then Friday would be, that's
right.
basically what you'd be doing.
So they'd probably only be doing 2 practices, is my guess, in Tennessee.
Well, that could be part of why they haven't announced it officially yet with Green Bay, because they're trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
And I will say that Globe piece did have the dates of the practices. I don't know if they're accurate or not, but
it's just a difficult because it's both weeks are on the road. And there's only 6 days in between the games themselves.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
And I just it's just surprising because I would think that they would, if they're going to do 3 practices of joint practices with another team, you would think they would want to do it with Vrabel and not do it with the Packers, who they're less familiar with. But it looks like it might be the opposite. It might be 3 with the Packers and 2 with the Titans.
All right. Well, so we got that to look forward to at the end of the summer. What else?
There was a little Diana Rossini update on DeAndre Hopkins' situation. She also said to be patient with the situation, that he's going to take his time. But she said that he's mulling offers from the Titans and the Patriots, and made it sound like it's still, to her knowledge, a 2-horse race. There's no third team that's come in or anything like that, and that he has 2 contracts on the table from both teams that he's working a decision on at the moment. So I think that's good news if you're a Patriots fan that wants DeAndre Hopkins, that it might not be as open-ended as like another team jumping in or something like that, at least at the time.
Does the Tyreek Hill situation sound like it's going to amount to anything, or is it?
I think
it doesn't, but it's another reason why he wouldn't be on my team.
Right.
It's funny that I used him as my example on Tuesday. I'm like, I know how great he is. And at this point, he's probably proven so much as a player in the league that it's going to take a lot to get him removed. But
yeah,
it was weird because that story, they initially said that the person wasn't going to press charges, and then the police investigation happened, and now all of a sudden the person is going to press charges. So my guess is that person is just trying to get some money out of Tyreek Hill.
And there were some reports, I think, late last night or early this morning that said that the case was closed. The police was no longer investigating, and now some people are saying that that's not accurate. It is still an ongoing investigation. So who knows?
Well, I'm sure the other teams in the AFC East are contributing to.
And
could you look into this a little bit more?
It doesn't sound like
pulled
it's
off
suspension
one of those.
worthy or
You
anything.
don't know who I am kind of deals.
Yeah.
Came in telling everybody that you could buy and sell them.
Yeah. And then locally, with the other teams, big trade for the Celtics, Bazinga coming to Boston.
Bazinga.
This is like J.J. Smith-Schuster now.
Yeah, and
he would never say Smith-Schuster.
Marcus Smart leaving town, so that's creating ripples in Team Green. A lot of some people think it's great, other people don't think it's so good.
We don't have to spend time analyzing the trade, but can you think of a player that is that
polarizing?
The opinions of that one individual guy are so different.
Yeah.
It's a tough situation too, because he had success with the Celtics, but he never won a championship. So it's not.
He didn't?
It's not
wow,
quite.
I'll tell you, my Twitter timeline would tell me a different story.
It's not quite like, I saw like Tom Curran compared him to Lawyer Malloy. But Lawyer Malloy,
I came really close to. I came really close to responding to that by saying only Malloy was good.
Yeah,
but I was like, I don't need to get into
there's other people have compared it to Nomar. Maybe, but Nomar wasn't hated. Like there was no.
Nomar hit 372. He was like the best player in the league for a short time.
But there was also just no like group of Red Sox fans that disliked Nomar, as far as I remember.
Not that I can recall.
I mean, he was beloved here for most of the time that he was with the Red Sox. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know who to compare him to. I just know that he definitely thought he was a lot better than he was. Yeah. And I think a lot of fans think he's a lot better than he actually was. Is he as bad as some fans like Paul think he is?
No,
probably not.
And I'd be 100% willing to admit that. He's not as bad as I think he is, and he's not as good as his supporters think he is.
But I do think that the team needs a shakeup. They're stuck in this kind of spin cycle of getting close but not being able to get over the hump.
I do wonder, without their coach situation that happened this year, if things would have ended differently, because there was like speculation about their locker room like not recovering from that. But
but I think that Marcus was a big reason why.
That's why.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's a lot of the things that we heard all season long were that Marcus Smart continued to talk about Ime Udoka, continued to talk about that situation, and his voice in that locker room was so powerful that he was basically the leader.
Well, forget about the
team.
locker room. Things he said in public about his coach and the situation is just not helpful.
Yeah.
Not helpful.
Yeah, I think for me as a Celtics fan, it's like two things. It's one, I don't mind moving on from Marcus Smart. I don't mind acquiring Kristaps Porzingis. Just the optics of the way that the trade went down when it was originally supposed to be Brogdon, and then they had to pivot to Smart because the Clippers pulled out. It looks, you gave up a lot more now. Like when it was just Brogdon in picks for Porzingis, I was like, oh, that's a great trade for the Celtics.
You have to take into account the health.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, now it's Smart.
Because Brogdon's a better player than Smart. But if he can't play, then he's not a better player than Smart. He can't play.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's a better scorer than Smart.
I think he's a better everything.
He's a
better defensive player than Smart.
Brogdon? No, Brogdon is a liability on defense last year.
I know. And I think he's a better defensive player than Smart.
See, that's where Paul goes.
I'll tell you the thing. You always say that, like I always say that he can't do anything.
Right.
I'll tell you the thing. I've said it a million times. When he plays a certain way, he's extremely valuable, and that is moving the ball. When he wants to look for his offense, he does it in the paint because I think he can play bully ball against guards with the best of them in that league. I think when he wants to get the ball to the basket, he's tough around the basket. He can finish. He's a good free throw shooter. He can be a complementary piece offensively if he wants to be. And there are times when he does that. He did it a little bit in the early in the Philadelphia series.
Yeah.
Then he stopped.
Yeah.
And he did it a little bit in the Miami series, and he stopped. I don't know if it's because of injuries. That's just a hard way to live. Like that's grinding. Like I mean, that's a grinding way for a guard to constantly take a pounding inside. But when he does that, he can be really effective.
But I think he's a plus defensive player.
Oh, not last year he wasn't.
No, last year his defense went down for sure. Yeah. But he was still an average to above average.
Right. The year before he was defensive player of the league.
I know what he was. He wasn't even the best defensive player on his team, but I know what he won. I get it.
Yeah. So he wasn't as good as the year before, but he's still
he's a flashy defensive player.
He's a better than average.
He's going to throw his chest into you.
Definitely a better defensive player than
back.
Okay, but he's always in the mix, and I think in this league he's a better than average defensive player because there's not a lot of guys willing to play defense.
So has anyone checked on Alex?
I did.
Wow.
She
did.
Pulse?
No. She's
okay?
fine.
She tweeted. She said if Marcus is gone, I'm gone, and she tweeted a picture out of an airplane.
Yeah, because
it
happened to coincide with her trip.
I'm not picking
I texted back and forth with her this morning.
I'm not picking on Alex when I say this, but true green teamers, and I think Alex sometimes goes into that category with the Celtics. Marcus Smart gets extremely overrated by those people to the point where like he was not a untouchable piece. Like he just wasn't. Like he wasn't an untouchable. The Jays are untouchable to me. Like you're not trading either one of those guys. But Marcus Smart was the guy that if you had to have an odd man out, he was the odd man out. Like it was pretty crystal clear that he was the one that if you felt like you needed a shakeup, the easiest thing to do was to trade Marcus Smart, and I like Porzingis. I think that that's something that they didn't have. Somebody that can play off of Tatum and Brown, can shoot, can stretch the floor, but also can score inside and be that pick and roll guy. Other than Rob running the rim, they really didn't have like a skilled guy that could, be a legitimate scorer. So I like Porzingis, and I don't mind moving on from Smart. I just hate that this is how it had to go down, with them pulling out, the Clippers pulling out of the trade. But it's okay that Marcus Smart is gone. It's also okay to be upset that he's gone because he was here for 9 years.
Okay, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Right.
You're
All right.
okay. I'm okay.
Sometimes people
We're
just
all
need to be
okay.
told that it's okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So that's pretty much it. There's really no other Patriots news to really talk about right now. So we'll open it up to our emailers and our callers and see what they want to talk about. And that could be anything, really anything. What are you watching on TV? What movies have you seen?
I feel like we're gonna get back onto a soap conversation.
I started another one last night, The Recruit.
Something wrong with that? You got a problem with that?
The soap conversation.
Yeah. Think you're better than me?
Obviously. She yelled at you before the show. And now she's making fun of Soap with a Slot.
Soap with a slot.
Soap with a slot. All right. 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Web radio at patriots.com is the email address. Did they find the people in the submarine, by the way?
They're probably.
I think the air.
They're out of oxygen. It was 11 a.m. this
They're
morning.
sardines by now? Yeah.
Not, they probably were in already anyways, but yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Found debris from it an hour ago.
Oh, really? Debris?
That's what this news article's saying.
How did it break up? I thought this thing was
Wasn't
like...
that the problem?
Yeah.
That it wasn't very well built?
Yeah. Well, no, but you couldn't open it up from the inside. So, where would the debris come from?
If it wasn't.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Huh. All right. Well, anyway,
That's a tough way
if
to
anyone
go.
has
In all
any
seriousness, that's a
Yeah.
tough way to go.
oh my God.
Yeah.
If anyone has any updates on that, you can offer them up. But we'll go to Anthony in Seattle right now on the Ace Ticket hotline. What's up, Anthony?
Hey, what's up, my people?
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, so I started balding in my early 20s, and so I shave my head twice a week. And I just recently found out that when I go on vacations, I don't have to get to my destination and then go to the drugstore and buy disposable razors, that I can actually pack razors in my luggage and take them through security in the airport. So I know this dude knew he couldn't bring extended clips through security in the airport. So I don't know what he could have been thinking.
Yeah.
His lawyer says he didn't knowingly do it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
again, then why don't you know where your guns are? So,
Correct.
again, I'm all ears. I just can't imagine what the excuse is, but I'm all ears.
I called today just for a little bit of therapy. I wasn't going to call. I didn't even want to talk about it, but I decided I needed the therapy. I'm going to be real quick. I want to get these thoughts out. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, so I'm going to try to be brief. But you guys probably remember my call a couple weeks ago because there were no other calls like it, but I said we were winning the whole thing. Right now, my aspirations for this team are on hold, and I know it sounds funny to say because of Jack Jones, because I know, I don't know. Usually we see eye to eye in a lot of the player analysis. I don't know why. For some reason, we don't see eye to eye on Jack Jones. I don't want to get into that right now, but my answer to the question you guys asked on Tuesday, is he worth all the trouble, is a resounding yes. But because to me there's a substantial drop-off between him and whoever else is going to be your number 2 outside corner. There's a drop-off between him and Jonathan Jones, who's a slot guy, Jalen Mills, who's a safety, and Marcus Jones, who's 5'8", and then Jack Jones, who's a tall, instinctive, playmaking gamer of an outside, corner, and my vision for this team started and ended with this defense, who, to me, is was going to be a nightmare. They can match up with anyone, anyhow, anywhere, on any day. Nasty, and I was so excited. But it consisted of them being like.
Well, if they're going to be that good, Anthony, if you think that they were close to being as good as you think, Jack Jones is going to that's going to destroy it. It's like the Yankees. Okay, so Aaron Judge is gone, so now the whole team collapses. Are you really a good team then?
Well, because to make a Super Bowl run, we were gonna need to shock the world, and it had to be perfect. I think this defense is going to be still very good, probably even great, because we have so many playmakers. But now there's just going to be a missing element.
Absolutely.
And, you know.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, to me, he just was such a big part of my vision. I'm going to get off the phone because I don't want to hold everybody up, but he was such a big part of my vision.
Yep.
And now I'm just on pause.
Now you have to relook at it. Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Thanks. And that's assuming we don't know. He could be part of it still. We just don't know. But, you know, like he's saying there's a big drop-off. That's saying more about the other people on the team than the defense as a whole. You know, like, you know, so –
I'm not sure if
I don't get it.
I don't know if I think that there's like a huge drop off at the top of the depth chart, but there's obviously a trickle down effect of it to the point where when we got out there at training or in minicamp and OTAs, they were so deep in the secondary that they just had a lot of options to throw at different things, including I think the biggest one being replacing Devin McCourty. Right now you have Jalen Mills who can play a little bit of safety. We were even discussing maybe Jonathan Jones playing a little bit of deep safety. Now that flexibility isn't quite there because you don't have the two outside cornerback spots on lock. But I don't think that there's a huge drop-off between Jack Jones and Jonathan Jones. I actually think Jonathan Jones is probably better than Jack Jones.
He was better last year. Now, he should have been. Jack Jones was a rookie, but I didn't see anything from Jack Jones that told me he's better than Jonathan Jones.
I mean, ball hawking maybe, but in terms of like actually covering your guy in a man coverage or whatever, like no. So I don't think that there's necessarily a drop-off in that respect, but it does make them a little bit less multiple, I guess.
I say this all the time, and I know this probably happens everywhere, but around here it always happens. Your very first impression goes a long way. And the first thing anybody saw him do was a pick six against Aaron Rodgers. They ignored the next 10 games.
Yeah.
And I don't know how Jack Jones all of a sudden got to be big. Like, I had to look it up to remember. I'm like, it's funny because I thought that one of the reasons why he was where he was in the draft beyond the off field was his size.
Yeah.
He's 5'11".
Yeah, he's like 5'11",
he's not big.
175, 180. Yeah.
You know, like, I didn't see and I'm not painting everybody with this brush. I didn't see what some people saw from Jack Jones last year.
I think he's got upside.
Absolutely has upside as a young player.
You know, and
they're not losing Dion.
You know, according to
that's a guy that is the difference between you going to the Super Bowl or not.
Yeah,
is not Jack Jones.
But I think for this team, if everything was perfect, he would have been absolutely
had a chance to start and had a chance to start.
Well, when you look at all the scouting reports, the thing that hurt Jack Jones coming up was himself, but he was highly rated as a recruit in coming into college, and you know just kept.
So was Sean Wade.
Just kept screwing up throughout college. You know.
I think that to me, Jack Jones's ceiling has always been J.C. Jackson. Like they play a very similar brand. I think J.C.'s like a little bit thicker, a little bit more built than Jack Jones is, but just in terms of making plays on the football, interceptions, knowing when to take those types of chances and jumping routes.
What do you think of J.C. Jackson?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, everybody.
Average.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's okay.
Yeah.
Is he the difference between your team going to the Super Bowl or not?
No. But I think, you know, what to the caller's point, I guess, I think what the disappointment is that you had a guy in Christian Gonzalez who's supposed to be the 70 snaps a game, he's going to be in the receiver's hip pocket and he's going to erase his side of the field potentially. And it should have freed up Jack Jones to just go and ball hawk and make turnovers and make big plays. But I don't necessarily think that they're going to lack the turnover gene, like just because he's not out there. But I think he was going to be in an ideal spot where he could take those chances and he could go out there and play off and play zone and play techniques that allow you to go after the football.
I know you have the easy way of looking up like playtime, just snaps. What did he have? Like, and we don't have to get it immediately, but like his PFF numbers in terms of snap count last year, because I don't recall him playing a huge role for the entirety of the season.
Jack Jones?
And they had incredible turnover numbers last year.
I think he only went in once. What was it? John Jones got hurt or Jalen Mills? One of them got hurt, and I think that's when
he had the play in Green Bay that everyone.
So he was.
He started the Green Bay.
He was at 53.5% snap count last year
for the season.
Yeah.
So he was a part-time player for the season. Now I know that counts him getting hurt at the end of the year and then getting suspended.
Mm-hmm.
But this isn't. I just don't know what everybody remembers other than the two picks.
I think
Detroit play was, to me, far more impressive for Jack Jones than the Green Bay one. But, like, what else? Did anybody remember the rest of the Green Bay game?
Well,
when he was like 12 yards off of his guy? Yeah. I know it was all coaching, right? That's what happens. Like, he has a pick six on Aaron Rodgers, and then in overtime, they throw like 3 quick wide-out screens that were, like, easy money because he's 12 yards off his guy. They blame that on the defense.
Right.
On the call.
The call. Yeah. I get that. I'm not like putting my nose up to people that don't watch the all 22 like me, but
I don't.
A lot of the stuff that I think Jack Jones got away with a lot of stuff last year, where in that Green Bay game he just busted a coverage, like just let a guy just run right behind him, and Aaron Rodgers just didn't see it, so it didn't burn them. And there were many instances throughout his film where he was busting coverages, or he was trying to jump a route and it wasn't the route he thought it was, and the guy got behind him. And he got lucky a handful of times that the quarterback just didn't see it and didn't get the ball to the player. Yeah. So his down-to-down coverage consistency in terms of just, is he in the right spots? Is he attached to the receiver? Was not nearly as good, but fans, I think, and again, not to like put my nose up to it, but fans, they attach themselves to the highlights, right? So they remember the picks, and because he didn't get burned for touchdowns on the plays where he busted coverages, there's no way to really highlight that was happening, but that was going on a lot with him as well.
Yeah, and I would say, like, I'm disappointed. I think he's a young player who you figured was going to get better. Mm-hmm. Like, so it's if he can't be part of the Patriots moving forward, that's absolutely that's disappointing, from a fan perspective.
Yeah.
And just a potential.
Yeah.
Like, he had potential to be a good player, but I think people thought he was more than he was last year.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a waste of potential, especially because you've been given numerous chances to kind of like start over, and numerous chances to like, turn over a new leaf. And if this happens to be that this was a poor mistake on his hand, it's just like you're letting something, a once in a lifetime dream, just go to waste.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, if they started the season with Christian Gonzalez, Jonathan Jones, and Jalen Mills as the top 3 cornerbacks, would you be stunned? Like, before this incident? You would be disappointed, because I know that you agree with me that I think the best case scenario would have been
right. Is this pre-spring or like what we know from minicamp? Because I think
pre-spring.
Pre-spring,
like seeing
no.
anything.
No.
It would not have been stunning, right?
Right. Once he had the minicamp that he had, it felt like, okay, this is a guy that's gonna play a significant amount.
But I just don't think, and there were times that he was with the first group, quote unquote, first group. I'm using my air quotes so I don't get in trouble. There were times that he was with that group. He certainly was the last day of minicamp.
Yeah.
But there were times that he wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I would not have been stunned if the season came. Now we'll never know because it's all different. But I wouldn't have been stunned if the season came and he wasn't starting.
Yeah, I just think, to me, it goes back to the flexibility, because now I think that we're going to see a situation where Jalen Mills is probably going to have to play corner again.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of depth. And I thought that he could have been a really valuable safety for them, and maybe even a better safety than he is a corner, just the way that they use safeties in the system. And now he's probably going to have to go back to playing some corner, and that then thins out your safety room by one extra person too. So that's where it feels like it hurts them, is they just don't have the same versatility. Like we were talking all spring about, they're going to spin the dial and they're going to have a ton of versatility and guys can play different spots in different places. Like that kind of does take a hit with
your
this.
Depth and everything that comes with it. Injuries will, one injury is much bigger now because that's like 2.
Right.
One injury becomes 2 if Jack Jones isn't there.
Let's go to Kevin in Portland, Oregon. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, how you doing? This is my first time calling. I just want to say this is super awesome.
Thank you.
So how can we get Damian Lillard here?
What? He's not going anywhere. And just to back that up, he literally just bought another house here. So I'm pretty sure he's not going anywhere.
The real estate angle.
The real estate. That's better than the Wrangle.
I mean, to be fair, you could have 2 homes. You could have one there.
But one of his homes is going to be in Portland.
Yeah, when you have 50 million,
Yeah.
you know, a year,
You could have multiple.
you have one any way
And
you want to
it's
be.
bigger than the first one that he bought here. So I don't know if
Yeah.
that makes a difference. So, but I just wanted to kind of say three things. Number one, I'm a huge Mac Jones follower. He did something over the summer that I don't feel like you guys have ever talked about, but he knows that the media is watching him. He does this thing where when he comments on other players' like statuses, he uses what is called a spider web, which, if you know, it's like a rap song, but basically it means that other people are watching you. And so I know he's going to have a monster season because of what he does. to other
Wait,
players
you
that
got to
he
explain
does.
this to me. What is a spider web? I know it's
Wait
a
a
rap
minute.
song, but
Now I'm about to go
like,
look.
you mean he's using the lyrics of that song?
Yeah, so he posts. So whenever a player says something that he knows he shouldn't answer, he'll post spider web, which means that I know that 12 is watching the web, which 12 is like another word for like other upper people watching you. So anytime he posts that, I'm all over it. Like I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
So he's gonna play good
but-
football because of this.
I feel like yes, I feel like this year we have an MVP season, Mac Jones, 100%. I feel like no one talks about it because they doubt the Patriots so much, but it is what it is. I just think we're gonna have a great season.
Okay. I hope so.
And then second, with the Jack Jones thing, honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I understand it's a big deal in the sense that we drafted him, but he had this kind of trouble in college. I feel like Bill Belichick kind of already knew, like, hey, I kind of need to back up this player.
So
Whatever that may
what
be,
part is not a big deal? Like if they have to
I
let
feel
him
like
go?
Yes, if we have to let him go,
It's not a big deal.
and
Okay.
just kind of use what we have.
Yeah, I somewhat agree
I'm
with
not
you.
like the other
on that.
guy who's saying it's the end of the world.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would lean more toward your point of view than Anthony's in Seattle.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Kevin.
I think that's way too rash.
All right. Well, thanks for calling. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah, I love the
Yeah.
first timers.
Yep. Good stuff.
I don't really understand the other thing. You
I'm
guys are gonna
literally
have
creeping
to
through
learn me
social
on
media
that.
trying to
This
find these
spider web?
webs. Yeah.
If that went over both me and Tamara's head, then I don't know.
Yeah, you guys are young.
Yeah.
I figured everyone would be
Fred
like, oh,
and I-
yeah, spider web, right.
Yeah,
But I'm
no,
not even talking
no.
about
Is that
the
a
spider
coverage
web
concept?
thing. But
Like, I don't know about
So I could sort of understand what he's talking about, like when you're trying to sort of send, like almost like subliminal messages.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Cryptic.
How does that how does that extrapolate to he's going to have a great year?
Right.
Like
Well,
even if he's doing
I-
it, which
I
I'm not
think
even
he-
willing to admit
I
he's
think
doing.
that's being a
Mindset.
little tongue in cheek about
Yeah.
it. I hope.
Mindset.
Okay.
I also would say that like one of my biggest pet peeves is this new thing where athletes just like tweet out emojis.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so
I'm
it's
so
just
done with it.
Oh, you mean Trent Brown?
or like
Everybody does it
Trent
now.
Brown.
He's definitely one.
Trent
it's
Brown.
just it,
Judon does it too.
and I'm saying it's not that it annoys me that they do it to begin with, but what annoys me even more is how people still react to it.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's something.
Patrick Chung was another one. You think you know people, ... It's like, okay, who are we
Wait.
talking about?
I think Cam did that right before the Eagles camp, and I swear his whole press conference that morning was about like, who are you talking about when you said you can't trust anybody?
Right.
Yeah.
And it was the whole press conference was about that.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
So-
Right.
so Judon-
So just say it, and
Yeah.
then,
Judon tweeted out like GM of the year
Yeah.
the other day.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And
And everybody's like, well, they got him.
there were articles written that the Patriots did, what's Judon hinting at? And
Right.
it's like we don't need to take it because we take the cheese, and that's why they keep doing it.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's getting them attention.
Of course. Yep, of course.
Can we wise up on that, please? Thank you.
Brian is in St. Louis. What's up, Brian?
Hey, yeah. Hey, the first time caller here.
Another
too.
first timer.
Nice. Okay.
I really appreciate the show. You guys do a great job, all four of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a couple of thoughts there, and I'll take it off the air. First of all, the idea with Jack Jones and what's going on there, it's a compelling story just to see how an individual who has dreamed of this opportunity his life, his whole life, and then come to this point where he's potentially going to throw it away. Other than that, it's not really something that's going to make a difference in terms of how the Patriots perform over the course of the season. Secondly, Mac Jones. I've got faith in this guy, and I think Brady is a fine example because he progressed over his career, and the Patriots know how to sustain a quarterback, educate a quarterback, and give him the tools to improve on his performance. And Brady I think he's a perfect example of that in terms of a guy who came into the league as a manager and left as a playmaker. And the thing about Tom Brady, if we ask ourselves, what was it about him besides the fact that, yes, he won 7 Super Bowls, but what was it about him as a quarterback that made him so uniquely accomplished? And what I point to from the thing that was evident throughout his career was his low interception rate. I think from the beginning to the time that he left the league, he threw very few interceptions. And that way, I think he really revolutionized the quarterback position. Before him, a lot of quarterbacks threw a lot of touchdowns, but they also threw a lot of interceptions, or they threw quite a few interceptions. But I think he was really the first quarterback to throw few interceptions. And then over the course of his career, the touchdowns significantly increased and the interceptions stayed low.
But that's
I'll
to me, that's all football. Thanks,
to me, it's
Brian.
toughness.
It's football IQ. It's seeing the field and not throwing into trouble. And the guys that make those mistakes, they just don't see the field the way Brady did. His football IQ was out of the park, and I think that helps him not make mistakes. When you can see something and instantly know what you're looking at, it's all quarterbacks see it, but what am I seeing? What am I looking at? And he could do that in an instant, and that's one of the big reasons why I think that his
to me it's toughness. That's what it comes down to. I thought he played better, or the same, or better when it mattered most.
Yeah.
When something had to be had, he almost no one's perfect, but he almost always came through when he had to, and that's toughness that I think that other people didn't have. You guys probably have the numbers. I don't know. Is his interception rate significantly less than the other great quarterbacks?
Not like necessarily the other great quarterbacks from this era. No.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not comparing him to Terry Bradshaw.
Right.
I'm comparing him to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, no, Aaron Rodgers has got
Drew
one
Brees.
of the best TD INT
again,
in
history. High football IQ.
But my point
so
is,
good.
why is Brady so much better than Rodgers?
I don't know if he is.
You don't?
When it comes to interceptions?
No. As a player.
Oh, then it comes to that ice cold going through his veins.
I mean, there was a year that Brady threw 36 touchdowns and 4 picks. I want to say 2010-ish, something like that. But for the most part, you could count on 8, 10, 12 picks. His ridiculous consistency. I mean, that stands out. But I think there are other guys that didn't throw interceptions, that didn't make the amount of plays that he made.
Yeah.
That to me is different.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he was the total package. Other than
everything.
Other than mobility, I guess.
It wouldn't have been fair. If he could run, it wouldn't have been fair.
But his intangible qualities, his mental processing and football IQ, as Fred put it, his ball placement, his anticipation, his arm strength, I think, is a little bit underrated.
I agree.
Honestly. I mean, look, he's Tom Brady. He's
and I was
package.
watching over and over again the other day that play in 2011, the throw to Welker, because there was a debate, bad throw or a drop. If you look at where the defenders were, Brady had to throw it where he threw it. He couldn't throw it on the other shoulder because the defender was closing in. He had to go to the other shoulder. It made it a tougher catch, but that's the only place he could have put it.
No, he could have thrown it to him, not in front of him. To him. He threw it behind him. I understand what you're saying. He didn't want to lead him into the hit.
He couldn't go the other way. He couldn't go because there was a defender right there.
I know. So
he could have sat him down with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
What he said.
I don't know. Maybe it could have been better, but it wasn't as bad a throw as some people think it was. It wasn't.
No, and it wasn't as bad of a drop as people think it was.
Yeah.
He also won, 7 times. So we'll give him 1.
Correct.
Right.
But I think with him, I think his physical tools, and I'll die on this hill. I think his physical tools get extremely underrated.
I totally agree, and Fred will be my witness. I said this in 2000 before he had ever even played. They talked about how his arm strength was not at an NFL level. And the first day we saw him throw at training camp, I said, I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
He throws the ball fine.
Yeah.
And that was before he did all his stuff with Tom House and added the mechanics and things like that. He came into the league with an ability to throw the ball better than they said he could.
Yeah, and I don't know what his combine rating was. Do they rate the ball speed?
They do now. I don't know if
they
did
didn't do it back then?
Yeah. But you look at the touchdown that he threw to Troy Brown in Miami.
Oh, God.
Backpedaling 60 yards in the air on a dime to Troy Brown.
Steve Burton.
So you're
in the background.
you're telling so the deep ball was there. Then he would throw passes the pass in 28-3 to Amendola along the sideline in overtime. Just put a far hash strike right on the money, and then he'd hit Gronk up the seam. He had so much. His arm talent was so much better than he gets credit for.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, did he have the Elway cannon?
No.
But
no.
But just knowing where to put it and just that ice cold through his veins where, a lot of times quarterbacks, the thing that holds them back from being accurate is their head.
Yeah.
They don't have the confidence. Brady had that confidence.
But this is why I push back on when people say they use Brady with Mac and they say, see, Brady wasn't this physical marvel and he made it all work. There is a distinct difference between Brady's arm talent and Mac Jones's arm talent.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Brady has a much better arm than Mac does.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he had a much better arm than Mac does at 45, not just in his prime.
Yep.
So I think that's where I can't get there with that. Oh, well, now if you want to talk about Drew Brees, maybe that's a little bit more in the ballpark, but I don't think Mac is really in the same tier as Brady in terms of arm
Brees,
talent.
he didn't have a great arm, but again, football IQ, anticipation, ball placement, knowing what he's looking at. He overcame his arm because of all those things.
Yeah, and I feel like just some things you either are born with it or you don't, or you got it or you don't. You really can't. As much as hard as he works, I feel like he's never gonna have an arm like Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. He's just not gonna have that arm.
Well, I think that's the disappointing part for me, and this might be being a little bit too critical of him, but he worked with Tom House, he's worked with his quarterbacks coach over the last couple of years, and I'm just waiting for that big jump in velocity. And I'm not talking about deep ball. I think he can throw a pretty nice deep ball in terms of the arcing touch deep ball, but that ability to hit a dig route in between two defenders 15 yards down the field and just put your foot in the ground and dot it. I just don't see him having that type of velocity on the throw, and that is where I think Brady improved the most as his career went on. Was that ability to really uncork a pass into tight coverage over the middle of the field. And I just haven't necessarily seen that increase in velocity from Mac, which makes me worry that maybe that's never coming. Maybe this is just physically what he's going to be for the rest of his career. And can he make it work with that?
It's a part of I'm halfway okay, this is the best he's got, and then the other half is maybe he's just not confident right now, and he's still trying to find that confidence that he can do those things.
Yeah, no, I definitely am leaving that margin open, because maybe Bill O'Brien gets him back on that confident track and he does start to just grip it and rip it a little bit more. But I still didn't see that in minicamp from him. I didn't see that, that real just kind of loose, let's just, throw the ball around. Now, he hit some really good down the field throws in minicamp, to Gesicki and to Devontae Parker, and those touch teardrop type of passes. But he's got to be able to drive the football into coverage, and if he can't do that, then I don't know if you can live off of an offense that's all at the line of scrimmage or all just kind of those deep ball touch throws down the field.
Yeah,
I mean, even Brady, kind of saw last year. You can't live off that because that's what Brady was last year. Is they couldn't make any connections down the field, and their offense. I think they punted. I think they had more 3-and-outs than the Patriots, or close.
Which is hard
like
to
that's
do.
how bad their offense was last year.
Did all the great quarterbacks have early success?
Well, how early?
Like,
would
within
you consider Peyton Manning early success, or
Yeah.
because he had a terrible rookie year? No.
No, but like right after that rookie year, didn't they make the playoffs?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
would consider him early success.
Yes, I would too.
Now he had a train record, but rookie season he threw like 28.
Oh, I know.
picks.
He's terrible. But like within their first 3 years, they're like, okay, this guy's good, and their team, the performance of the field reflected that. Like, did all the great quarterbacks have that, or is there an example of a quarterback who it took a while for them to blossom?
I mean, if you go on like all time, like guys like Terry Bradshaw,
yeah,
took him a long time.
Did it? Okay.
Like he was.
I don't remember
in
Drew
and out.
Brees coming into the league and being.
He wasn't what he was in New Orleans. That's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, like great right away.
He was good.
Yeah.
With the Chargers, but yeah,
He
I
was-
think the indoor thing really helped him.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that. So this is obviously you can't really compare them because Trevor Lawrence has way more talent than Mac Jones, but like obviously horrible rookie season for many reasons between
Urban
just
Meyer.
roster, Urban
yeah.
Meyer, just a lot of things. But
Yep.
like I'm sure he's able to build on what he did last year, what his team did. I don't want to say just him, but I think he'll be interesting to see. Like, was that his ceiling? Or does he have a high ceiling? I'll
Right.
be interested to see.
Yeah.
But obviously he has.
But I could think of a lot of guys
different
off the
skills.
top of my head that you're talking about.
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence,
Ben
Joe
Roethlisberger.
Burrow,
Right.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert,
I'm-
Ben
and-
Roethlisberger.
So I'm just wondering how much that early success contributes to the confidence they have going
True.
forward, and how much it hurts if they don't have it like 3-4 years. And
Well, I
you
think
know-
and look, Josh Allen still hasn't won anything, but
No.
his trajectory is rare. Like that.
that's a good example.
Yeah. but he's not an all-time great. But his
no,
trajectory
but even
is
he
rare.
got much better year 2 than year 1.
Yes.
It was before,
Yes.
even before Diggs.
Yes.
Yes.
And then
And
when he
took
got
off.
Diggs, he took off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think his example of being able to really play more under control and have better accuracy, like
Yeah.
the quarterback in college couldn't hit the broadside of a barn at Wyoming, and then he figured it out mechanically to start to be more accurate and things like that. But his trajectory is extremely rare, especially for those like ball of clay type of quarterbacks. But Mac was supposed to be the floor guy, so that's what this was always the concern with him, was that he was going to be a serviceable NFL quarterback as his floor, but he just doesn't have that ceiling that to really be that and take that next step, and so far that he's been stuck in neutral in the NFL.
Yep.
What about Mahomes?
Mahomes was great immediately.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
It's like, I wonder, but I feel like he also has like that mental toughness, that grit, that if he didn't start off good, I feel like he probably would have kept working hard until he was.
Well, he's got it.
He also sat.
Yes.
He's
for a
got
year,
all those
but-
things.
But
That's
even the
true.
first game he played,
I know, he
as
was awesome.
that rookie year, even he was awesome.
And they said, in Kansas City, the reports are, I don't know how true this is because it's, hindsight, but he was better in practice,
and Reed
than
wasn't
Alex
playing,
Smith,
yeah.
but they wanted to wait.
And I think a lot of that had to do with how much respect they had for Alex Smith,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
That makes me wonder what Jordan Love is going to look like. Just because, like, when we did see him
Rodgers
go in.
is a guy that took a while.
Yeah. When we
Well,
did
he
not-
sat behind Favre.
I know, and then when he played, he wasn't great.
Yeah.
Like, not only, I think he sat 3 years.
Yeah, he was one of those guys too. From what I remember, I don't remember him being like overwhelmingly as physically talented as he turned
As you
out to
feel
be.
like he is now.
Yeah, I think he might be one of an example that did develop arm strength
Maybe
and mobility.
learned, nutrition at the NFL level.
Well, remember, Paul, we had one of those early games with Rodgers. Favre was hurt. Rodgers came in, and we pasted him like 40-something to in Green Bay.
35 to nothing.
35
Oh, wow.
nothing.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Paul remembers.
I do remember.
He remembers.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if Jordan Love falls in those footsteps.
All right. Paul's food's here. So is mine. We're going to eat it, and we'll
Fred
be
bought
right
it.
back after this.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Bass Pro Shops, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including Sixth String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar. Watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G Ultra Wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G Ultra Wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes.
Oh no.
Replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
There's no season better than football season, and there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week, so head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Patriots fans, you'll want to check out the replay on this one. Pat the Patriot is stealing the show tonight with his Bank of America mobile banking app.
That's right, folks. So here we see Pat cheering, and then whammo! Is that Bank of America life plan?
Looks like he's saving up for some big future moves. Planning the next vacay, huh, big guy?
And wait, now he's paying back his buddy for concessions using Zelle? No penalty there. Incredible!
No way! As if that double move wasn't impressive enough, now he's beefing up his account defense with security meter? Holy cannoli, what a performance!
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Patriot fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking. You must be enrolled in online banking or download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Bass Pro Shops, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including Six String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar. Watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G ultra wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G ultra wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Patriots fans, you'll want to check out the replay on this one. Pat the Patriot is stealing the show tonight with his Bank of America mobile banking app.
That's right, folks. So here we see Pat cheering, and then whammo! Is that Bank of America life plan?
Looks like he's saving up for some big future moves. Planning the next vacay, huh, big guy?
And wait, now he's paying back his buddy for concessions using Zelle? No penalty there. Incredible!
No way! As if that double move wasn't impressive enough, now he's beefing up his account defense with security meter? Holy cannoli, what a performance!
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Patriot fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking. You must be enrolled in online banking or download the latest version of the mobile banking app only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Bass Pro Shops, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including Six String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar. Watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
And now, great moments in history.
So I do the thing where you see somebody in their car, they're about to leave, so you pull over, put your signal on, and you sit there. So this guy in a big Tesla comes up right in front of me and starts giving me the hands. Like, what? I'm like, motion, go around. He's like, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't go around. Finally, he decides, I'll go around. So he goes around, but then he decides to do a pull-up, roll-down. He pulls up next to me.
Imagine that he pulls the pull-up,
He does a pull-up, roll-down, and pulls down the window. So he starts talking to me, and I just say, keep effing driving, just like that. He had the kids in the back seat. I don't care. But I just said, keep effing. He goes, well, we'll talk later. I go, no, we won't. But
ended it.
That was it.
That's another great moment from
Now, why would you choose that, Matt Morrell?
I think that is hilarious.
Yeah, I know, but it's, come on.
Been a while since we played it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's summer. People go to the mall, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
Like tough guy Fred.
Yeah. No, he got on my bad side. I mean, just go around. Why do you have to make a scene? All right. Anyway, 855-PATS-500. We're back. It's Tamara. It's Evan, Paul, myself, Matt in the booth. Talking Patriots. We're talking submarines. I haven't heard any or read any updates yet from y'all out there. But if you have any, send them in. We do have Andre in Nashville on the line. What's up, Andre?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
All right.
Hey, so I want first and foremost, I want to say, Evan, man, I've been following you for a long time, even when you were doing the podcast with Alex, man. So I want to say, man, congratulations on your promotion, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I have a two-part question. So here's my first question. The DeAndre Hopkins sweepstakes. So here's my thing. I feel like the longer he takes on trying to pick the right team or right fit for him, I think it doesn't look too good for the Patriots, because I feel like when he went into his meeting, he probably had an understanding on what they were trying to offer. And on top of that, I heard that Tennessee had already offered him a contract. So I think Diana Rossini posted today or tweeted today that he's exploring his options between the Patriots and the Titans. So I want to give you guys thoughts on that. Like, the longer he waits, is it looking good for the Patriots, or is it looking good for maybe a mystery team or maybe the Tennessee Titans themselves? And then my last question is, as far as Mac Jones is concerned, Mac Jones was really good at Alabama. And I feel like people overlook that. I mean, yes, he did have Devontae Smith, and he did have Jalen Waddle, and I think he had I forgot who else. He had Najee Harris at one point.
Mechie.
Not Jameson.
But he was really good at Alabama. He threw for almost 4,000 or close to 4,000, and so many touchdowns. I feel like with Bill O'Brien, I feel like he's gonna play better. I mean, the circumstances last year were the circumstances with obviously Matt Patricia, but I just kind of want to get you guys' thoughts on that.
Okay. Thanks, Andre. Appreciate the call.
It's ironic that it comes off the heels of Evan gushing about his Alabama days.
Yeah, the first point of DeAndre Hopkins, the longer, absolutely. I think it's terrible news the longer that it takes for him to make a decision. Not because of the Titans necessarily. I think it's more of that dark horse team, right? The team that comes out of nowhere, especially. We'll see. I get that there's reports out there that he could wait into training camp and see if somebody gets hurt, or a team gets into camp and they're like, we're actually not as good at receiver as we thought we were, or something like that. But I would just be more concerned about that team, the dark horse, or a third team coming in and swooping in and taking him the longer that this goes on.
I agree. I mean, especially with, like, for example, the Jets losing someone on defense today, Chuck Clark. It's like, how it's like sad how quick someone can get injured and be out the whole season. The way Clark is for the Jets, it's like it takes something like quick like that happening, a team being like, okay, DeAndre Hopkins is available, let's sign him, and they'll do anything. They'll offer way more than the Patriots or the Titans probably would offer.
Is there anything to be said about Hopkins waiting till after the Patriots-Titans joint practice to go on either team? You know, like
that's pretty deep into it.
I'm just gonna wait, until after these guys practice together, and then whichever team I know right now I'm gonna join, I'll join them then.
I definitely think that there's something to him not wanting to practice in training camp. Like I think that's. I don't know about it being the optics of the Titans in the Patriots situation, but I definitely think there's something to be said for the fact that at 31 years old and with all the clout that he's has and things like that, that maybe he would rather, if I have to miss the first week of training camp, first 2 weeks of pads,
right,
so be it.
Don't you think there's a big difference between being in shape and then being in football shape?
Absolutely.
So I understand not wanting to practice, but you have to get out there at some point.
But here's the problem with the NFL today. You can't get into football shape anymore. Football shape used to involve getting tackled or tackling, or blocking at full speed. And they don't do that anymore. So you don't get into football shape until week 3 of the regular season.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I remember Hightower saying that when he came back after, sitting out the COVID year, he was saying, I worked out. He was still working out. It wasn't like he was sitting at home watching TV. But it's a difference between getting hit at practice and being in football shape than working out on your own with trainers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
It's all different now. 855-PASS-500, web radio at patriots.com. Rick says something that Tamara said, that they found debris on the seafloor during the search. But, that's – I don't understand where the debris comes because this thing can't open up. So what's –
it's a debris field. They're not sure if it's from the submarine or
so
not.
It could be from what?
Right.
Could be from the Titanic for all they know.
It could be from crap that happened 10 years ago.
Can this story
debris
be
floating
over?
in the general
Can we just
area
all
they're
move
looking?
on with our lives, please.
All right. Well, Franklin in Baltimore writes in at webradio at patriots.com. I think these comparisons to Brady to hype up Mac always miss the mark for me, because despite his lack of a top-flight arm strength in terms of distance, I never ever questioned Brady's velocity. His balls almost always had zip on it. You can clearly see his baseball background whenever he throws. Also, even in college, Brady always had a knack for elevating his teammates around him. In an ideal world where Brady's college coach wasn't enamored with an incumbent, there is no doubt in my mind he doesn't last beyond the second in that draft class. Don't let his draft status fool you. Brady was a draft miss, not some scrub that had no physical talent whatsoever. Okay.
I agree with the physical talent.
Yeah, I largely agree with the whole thing, too. I don't know how high he would have been drafted, but if they didn't recruit Drew Henson and feel compelled to play him, it would have been like if Alabama had just played Bryce Young instead of Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mac Jones was at Alabama for 5 years.
Yeah.
And it never really played.
Yep.
And then Bryce Young came in, and they went with Mac Jones. Well, Lloyd Carr went with a platoon system with Drew Henson and Tom Brady for 2 years.
Yeah.
And if that didn't happen, if he just said, I'm watching practice. Brady's better than Drew Henson every day. And he just went with Tom Brady, he wouldn't have been drafted in the 6th round. Now, I don't know where he would have been drafted, but he wouldn't have gone in the 6th round, 199th overall.
Yep. Matt in Carlsbad, California. Did Drew Brees have an elite arm? I remember him having less than great arm strength. Now, obviously, Mac is not Drew Brees, but I'm just trying to think of an example of a great quarterback without an elite arm.
Yeah, he did not have an elite arm strength. I would agree.
But he also played half his games in a dome. So
you don't think he'd have had the success he did outside of
If he had to play in New England? No, I don't. I totally agree with Evan.
I think he still would have been good.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have held the NFL passing yards record at one point. Does he still have it, or did Brady pass him? I don't remember.
I think Brady passed.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have been that good.
I think he's one of those guys that threw a lot with anticipation. I also think that a lot of his skills, like that shoulder injury, really hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, 3-4 years into his career?
Yeah.
I think that hurt him. I think that was, not to give Nick Saban the out here, but that's why Nick Saban didn't take him. He went with Dante Culpepper instead in Miami.
Yeah.
Which ended up sort of, ending his tenure with the Dolphins before it even began.
Yeah, one of the bigger what ifs of that era.
Let's see. Matt is in New Jersey, first-time emailer. Working in the film industry, it's always funny hearing Mike's stories on how nothing has changed, including accidentally CCing writers when trashing their scripts.
Oh my God.
I wholeheartedly agree with Paul saying that
Somebody do
Belichick
that?
using Patricia and Judge as a placeholder for Billy O is a fireable offense for negligence.
That's why I don't believe it happened.
Regardless of whether that's true or not, last year was a major disrespect for the offensive side of the ball. I saw it as Bill, intentional or not, telling all of his offensive coaches and the rest of the league that offense is easy enough for a defensive and special teams coordinator to design and coordinate an offense, and it will still be better than half of the NFL offenses. To have Bill Belichick, one of the greatest football minds, act like that is baffling. Also, on Tuesday, Fred insisted that Garoppolo must have something to do with chicken in Italian. Not so. Per my friend who does Italian to English subtitling for Netflix, Garoppolo, while not
the galloping chicken?
While not the common phrasing, coincidentally translates to I scramble, as in I scramble out of the pocket.
The galloping chicken.
He doesn't scramble very much, so
Yeah.
it's not very fitting.
Well, he used to.
Yeah.
And
Till he got
finally,
broke.
a trivia question. There have been 7 Pro Football
7?
Hall of Fame players whose sons were drafted by an NFL team. Who are the father-son combinations? Hints, 4 sons were Patriots, and some of these Hall of Famers had multiple sons drafted. For a bonus, there is an 8th duo, although the father was not.
Are we trying to say this?
All 7 of them?
Hall of Famers whose sons were drafted in the NFL, so Slater.
Slater's
Yeah,
one.
Jackie is-
Okay, that's.
Slater.
But is
Yeah.
that an example of
Yeah.
one?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's saying
Matthews,
Clay
Clay
Ma-
Matthews.
Yeah. Bruce Matthews.
Bruce Matthews, Clay Matthews, right?
Yeah.
So there's 4 Patriots, so we only got one of the Patriots?
Yeah, so let's think now.
Is Archie Manning in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Isn't he?
I don't. Archie Manning in the Hall of Fame. He
Maybe
wasn't
not.
that good.
No, he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
No.
But
He's a Manning, so.
Yeah, I don't think he
yeah,
was.
but that was before that became a thing.
Yeah.
That really didn't become a thing
he
until
was the
Peyton.
Manning.
Let's think now. Patriots fathers.
Sons of.
Patriots fathers who were in the
Having
Hall
a hard
of Fame.
time with this. This is a tough question.
Yeah, right? I mean, there's 7 of them. There's a lot of them.
And we only got 2 out of the 8?
Is
Or
Samuel?
7.
Did we say that already? Was I not paying attention?
No, he's not in the Hall of Fame. Asante Samuel?
Mhm.
Yeah, not in the Hall of Fame.
This is so he's got one other Patriot, but that's all. So he has Jackie Slater and Matthew Slater. We got that right away.
Okay.
Herb Hanna and John Hanna
I don't know who.
and
Herb
Charlie
Hanna
Hanna.
Who's Herb?
Charlie Hanna is John Hanna's brother.
Right, but is he in the Hall of Fame?
No, John is.
But so maybe
Okay.
somebody in the
Okay,
family has to
okay.
be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, all right. But that's the only Patriot he has. He's got Bob Greasy and Brian Greasy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Dorsett and Anthony Dorsett.
Oh, yeah.
Russ Grimm and Cody Grimm.
Never heard of Cody Grimm.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Howie Long.
Yeah.
Chris
Oh, yeah.
Long, who was a Patriot.
Oh,
so that's there. It's got,
there you go.
We should have gotten that one.
Yeah.
We should have gotten the loss.
And then Kellen Winslow and Kellen Winslow Jr., who
We
was
should
a
have gotten
Patriot
that
very
one.
briefly.
Kellen Winslow Jr. was a Patriot?
When?
He wasn't on the team for like a day or 2 days mid-season. Remember that? I think I
don't,
remember.
but
Okay,
I'm
but
not
that's a-
saying you're wrong. I
That's
don't
a
remember it.
technicality. I'm
Yeah.
not counting
I don't think
that.
you ever played a game. for the
2012. I think he was. I think I remember being on a road trip, and I think he was on the team for like a week or something.
Okay,
like
so we should have got. Is that all of them?
that. And then the bonus is Don Shula and Mike Shula, but Don
Oh,
as
yeah.
a coach. Yeah. Okay.
We definitely should have gotten the longs.
The Longs,
Yeah.
That was a pretty easy one. In Greasy, we probably
Yeah,
should
so
have gotten too.
so Kellen Winslow was on the Patriots for 8 days.
8 days. Yep.
Eight days.
Did he
in,
play a game?
September of 2012. Good job, Fred. Right on.
Well, it probably says 2012 in the email.
It did.
I see. I gave you credit. He did play a game.
I know better.
He caught one pass for 12 yards.
I would have lost a lot of money on whether or not he caught a pass.
Yeah.
Caught a pass.
Yeah. He was troubled. He had some issues.
Is that in the Amos
That's
Zeroway era?
putting it lightly. Yeah.
Let's see. Kobe is in Vermont. He says, being 31, I've only experienced the Patriots dynasty in 3 years of mediocrity. How would you prefer the next decade to go? Would you rather the Patriots get 12 to 14 wins every year and make it deep in the playoffs every year, but no Super Bowl wins, or be below 500 8 to 10 years and win a Super Bowl in 2033?
Oh, it has to be in 2033.
Yeah, so you have to wait a long time for it.
I don't know if
I'm
Patriots
always
fans
taking.
can wait that long.
I'm always taking the Super Bowl.
Really?
See, my answer is always the Super Bowl, but selfishly, being 55 years old, I will not be still working for the Patriots in 2033, so I would take
for your sake,
the steady
right.
For your sake,
success.
I hope that's true.
Yeah.
Because we don't want
I don't know if Patriots fans can deal with below 500 for the next.
I know.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, it just basically like make it's like the Red Sox. Like the Red Sox either win the World Series or they're a mediocre baseball team. There's no in between. So
right, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
but you have to win. Like this is like you're really bad every year, and then you
Yeah,
you
he
win
said
one.
8 to 10 years below 500.
And then you win one
In a decade,
Super Bowl.
literally.
All right.
You
I
know,
don't
at a
know.
time where I'm hoping to have stepped aside. Fred will still be here.
Lucas writes in. He said last week Evan had a great rant about his disdain for Bills Mafia. I too share this feeling, as many Buffalo fans think their few years of moderate success put them on our level. My question is, are there any other fan bases that are as insufferable as these hooligans?
No.
P.S. The term Buffalo winning is the perfect way to describe their success.
I think, in all seriousness, there are about 20 fan bases like that.
Well, you hate all fans, Paul.
No,
You hate all the
I would have
fans.
said 32 if I hated them all. I said I think there are about 20. But the one part that I really agree with about Buffalo is you know you have to have won something.
They
Like,
think
you wanna
that
be
winning
obnoxious with
they think
something.
that winning the AFC East is winning something.
But this is not new.
But they
Like,
feel
you know how they are right now?
They've been like this forever.
When they were like 3 and
Yeah.
13.
Yeah. They feel like they have bragging rights over the Patriots because they've won the AFC East over the last couple of years. The division gives
Well,
them bragging rights.
It's like when someone's like bar is so low, like something like that is, like winning the Super Bowl for them. But
Yeah.
when you're a Patriots fans and you're a dynasty, used to a dynasty, your bar is so much higher that you're just like, what? Like, what are you doing?
Well, as a Patriots fan, you have to tell these Buffalo raise your bar.
Yeah, their bar is very
Raise
low.
your bar a little bit because they all say, oh, like you just live in the nostalgia of the Brady years, and all Patriots fans just talk about what happened 10 years ago, and it's like at least we have something to talk
They
about.
live in the nostalgia of the Kelly years.
Right.
Right. They didn't even win.
Right. That's what I'm
they
talking
lost
about.
all 4 of those Super Bowls.
Right.
They're terrible.
I mean, they're winning now, but they haven't won it. You know,
They haven't even made it.
Yeah.
They have one AFC Championship game appearance where they got blown out by Kansas City.
Yep.
That's it.
Is that right?
Yes. In the Allen era, they've made one AFC Championship game.
I don't remember them getting blown up.
Oh yeah, Stephon Diggs. Remember the picture of Stephon Diggs on the field?
Yeah, I
like,
just
look,
don't remember that game being a blow. I remember the Kansas
was-
City games were good games. I remembered.
The
Cincinnati
AFC
game.
Championship game was at least like a
Cincinnati last
a
year.
double digit.
That was a blow.
What, did they pull away at the end or something?
They might have,
I can't
but-
remember.
I'm confused. I might be confusing the divisional round with that. I'm thinking of
So
that game.
13 seconds is the divisional round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm
maybe I
looking
was
it
thinking the wrong. Cincinnati last year, that was a blowout. They got blown. They got, as Emmett Smith would say, they got blowed out.
They got blowed out.
Was it 38? Was it in 2021? 38-24?
Yeah, 38-24.
14 points.
Not a blowout to me.
Well-
If you lose like 20-3, you got blown out.
Yeah.
You know, 38-24, you couldn't keep up in a shootout.
Yeah.
Mac Jones.
Ray in St. Louis, he says, looking to come to a Patriots home game this year. What are some cool places to come visit for the weekend for a 28-year-old? Tamara?
I'm a horrible person to ask that.
I know, you don't go out.
No.
You
There's
are-
nothing to do here.
You are not a nightlife
Okay, well, that's
person.
not true.
There's nothing to... Are you forgetting where I moved here from? There's nothing to do here.
Well, it's just different from where you came from.
There's nothing to do here.
So we're also asking. You're not.
There's things to
We're
do.
talking
In
about
Boston.
Miami.
No
Yeah.
offense,
Okay.
but you're also a transplant. So like,
Because all
you
the
don't-
other
might not
places you
know
came
the
from,
underground thing.
I don't think are any better. But Miami, all right, I got to.
Because it's like here, it's like unless you're going to a sporting event,
Yep.
What are you doing?
There's clubs.
Define club.
No, I'm not a big club
you
guy.
go down to the Seaport. There's all those new bars
Yeah.
and clubs down there. The Grand or whatever.
The Seaport,
they
if
call
you
it.
want to go quote unquote clubbing, the Seaport is the.
There is one bar in Boston that I like, and I can't think of the name right now. I need to think about it.
By the Garden.
Is
maybe?
it Alibi?
I don't know.
I need to look it up.
See, I haven't been in that scene. That's
Now-
why I threw
Well,
it to you.
now-
But
It depends.
you don't go out.
Now, if
you
we
watch
talk
Law and
about-
Order every night.
Exactly. But if
Yeah.
we talk about food, yes.
Yeah.
Regina's Pizza in the North End.
Sure.
Oh my God. Just so good.
It's very cliche of you.
Well, I
It's
would
so
just,
good.
I would just say, if you're looking for, the nightlife, go to the Seaport or
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Seaport's nice if you want that sort of upper echelon.
Do they still have the
clubbing
clubs
and-
in Lansdowne Street?
Well, those
By
are
Fenway?
so those I would consider bars, right? Like
No, but they used to have clubs like with live music and everything.
oh yeah. I mean, if you want to go to Lansdowne, like personally, I love Lansdowne Pub. That's like one of my favorite spots, and at night that does turn up to like more of like a club music
Yeah.
DJ type of scene.
Got turned.
Cask obviously is more sports bar
Right,
and
that's- yeah.
Game On and those places, but Lansdowne Pub. Some people like Cheeky Monkey. I'm not a Cheeky Monkey guy.
Yeah, Cheeky Monkey.
Unfortunately, Baseball Tavern is closed, so you can't go there anymore, which is a real bummer. But that's like the whole Fenway area.
Right.
Faneuil Hall has some cool bars too. You
Yeah.
know, especially this time of year. The Landing, Tia's right on the water. You can go and
Tia's is still there?
Tia's is still there.
Okay.
The Landing is really cool. It's only open in the warmer weather. It's right on the pier right outside of the aquarium in Boston, which I really like. If you want to go like Garden, right, like near the Garden,
Yeah,
the
tons
harp,
of places.
the harp is obviously like the biggest one over there. I would say.
Banners.
Clearly, Evan is out 24/7.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Banner-
lived here most of my life.
And Banners is huge.
Banners is huge. If you like, if there's a sports game on, we love Banners because the TVs are huge and good.
Is that new?
It's attached
Yeah.
to the Garden.
Yeah.
I've never.
But
been
if we're talking
Yeah.
food, I love Hunters. Have you been to Hunters?
Hunters?
Maybe.
Hunters, it's so good.
Hunters
It's
or
like
Hunters?
Hunter, like Hunter Henry.
Okay.
It is incredible.
In Boston?
It's technically more towards like Dorchester. But
Okay.
it's
Kind of food
really,
they
really
have?
good.
Not in Boston proper,
Southern
Fred, as you
food.
would
Southern
call it.
food? Okay.
But it's like more like a bar vibe. It's not a restaurant.
Yeah.
It's definitely very, very chill.
Yeah.
Boston, I think, is more to me like it's more about like the bars. I think are more fun than like the true clubs. Like the clubs, I think are
Mhm.
like trying to be
Well, yeah, like-
Miami, trying to be
Yeah,
you know,
that's
it's just not
like those bottle bars. Like,
Yeah.
we're not. You don't bring your bottle.
Right.
You go
Bottle service.
You
Bottle
get,
service,
yeah, you
right,
get
right.
a table, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like $2,000 for the table.
right. They're just
it's like ridiculous.
It's trying too hard.
Yeah. What do you do? This is
No.
Boston.
Just go to
We
you
don't
know,
do that in Boston.
You're still
Yeah.
closing at like 1:30.
Right.
Yeah, just go to like one of some of the bars that I just mentioned, and it's a good time. It's casual, not like
Yeah.
uppity like that.
I mean,
Uppity.
Freddie, where did you used to?
oh, back in the day.
Copperfields.
I wasn't a big Copperfields fan, but Back Bay was a big place. We'd
Yeah.
go to the Poorhouse.
Poorhouse.
The
yeah.
poorhouse closed
Yeah.
Yeah.
during COVID.
I heard that.
which is really tough.
There was another place called, it was the old Firehouse. It's something different now, but back then it was Division 21, I
oh
think.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a great place.
Yeah, poorhouse.
I never heard of that one.
Yeah.
Used to frequent the poorhouse, and then what's the one that's right next to Whiskey's?
Whiskey's we'd go to.
Whiskey's is still open.
Yeah.
Poorhouse didn't make it.
And then we'd go to, there was the Lennox Piano Bar we'd go to.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. Oh, that
Have you
was-
been to Spin in Boston?
No,
With all the games on the inside?
no. We do go to Putt Shack though. That place is fun.
Pud Shack?
No, Putt Shack.
Oh.
Indoor mini
What
golf.
are we doing?
Well, I don't know what kind of bar it is. I don't know.
Samara laughs at how many times you make me just put my palms to the air and just look at you incredulously.
Indoor mini golf and bar. It's like like Kings, like where you can go bowling and drink. This
That's how
is
Spin
this
is.
is mini golf and drink.
Yeah.
We like it.
Or the student union at Merrimack where I was yesterday. Bowling alley and a golf simulator. I was like,
jeez.
I just had my mail forwarded here.
Right. Wow.
This is like higher education
Yeah.
nowadays, Freddie?
Those were the days going out in Boston.
Narcissus?
No, I never
went to
frequent that.
Narcissus?
We used to go to a place across the street in Kenmore Square called Pooh's Pub down in the basement. I think you're too young, Evan. You're
Yeah.
shaking your
With a
head.
rat?
But
No, I don't know that
the
one.
Rathskeller was on one end, but you go down the street, and Pooh's Pub was on the same side of the
Such
street.
an interesting name.
Yeah.
I don't remember that Pooh's Pub. That must have been gone before.
Yeah,
I
we
got
used to
there.
go to Crossroads
Who's
a
on
lot.
first? You used to go there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, all those places are gone now.
Yeah,
though.
they're all gone.
But the Crossroads was upstairs, downstairs, and I'll tell you a funny story. So my friend and I, we went to Emerson. So we're like, all right, we're gonna go out tonight. We're gonna start at Crossroads. So we get to Crossroads. We go upstairs. We get our table. Get some food, and the place is packed, but it's so quiet. Like no one's talking, and we're like we seem like to be the only ones talking. And it turned out to be it was like this deaf dumb convention, or like everybody
think you can say
there
that.
was doing sign language except us. And so like we were like, do we even talk?
Now
Are we
I'm
allowed
really
to
giving
talk?
them the palms up. Like, what are we doing?
No, but it was like something out of a sitcom. It's like, why is it so quiet? And then we realized, oh my God, we're the only ones here that can talk.
So now I'm going to question
God.
anytime you, from this point forward, anytime you ever say, I have a funny story to tell you, I'm going to question whether it's actually going to be funny.
Can we censor it first?
So it's not, that wasn't funny?
It
is funny.
It is funny, but it's also...
But it's also offensive.
But it just happened. I mean, what can you say?
Fred.
Back to the emailer.
Facepalm.
If I were coming to Boston and I was like trying to show like my friends that aren't from here or something, and you wanted to go out at night, I'd probably hit up Faneuil Hall area, like
just to see it.
Tia's Landing,
Yeah.
Bell in Hand, Black Rose.
Yeah.
You got Howell is like right down the street. If you want to go to that.
And like Bell in Hand is like historical too.
Yeah, Bell in Hand's cool. It's got multiple floors. One of the like lower floors is usually live music, and the upper floor is like a DJ.
Is Durgan
scene.
Park still there, or is that closed?
I think that closed.
I think it closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's,
I could have given you like the lay of the land in like say 1989.
Right.
I'm not really
Right.
of much value to you today.
Yeah, I'm
Stocks and bonds. Down the financial district, it was a big nightclub.
What's the one? It's downstairs. It's like really narrow, but it's historical.
Greatest Bar?
Yeah, I think it. No, Greatest Bar.
That's
no,
long
the
and narrow.
red tab or oh shoot, I think it.
You talk where is it located? Like in Faneuil Hall?
No.
By the Garden?
No. It was
in Massachusetts.
Yeah. No, it was where Macy's is, right? Or was.
Okay, so down in the
So
theater district.
But it's down one of those streets, and you go down, and it was very narrow.
Oh.
But it was like a huge like after work bar.
I don't know that one.
I don't know.
I
Anyway.
don't know.
Anyway, Kyle writes.
That was J.J. Foley's for me after work.
Yeah.
Good spot.
The Herald.
Kyle and Pembroke, if you guys could have any former Patriots player in their prime who never played for Belichick as a head coach, join this year's team, who would you choose? Oh, come on. That's like, there's a million, right?
We got to choose one.
So this year, who would you choose? I mean, Tippett comes to mind immediately.
Who's the best quarterback you can come up with?
Yeah.
Peyton Manning.
Well, no, he said
No, Patriot. Former Patriot.
Oh, former Patriot. I
Yeah.
thought it just
Yeah.
said someone who never played for
No,
Belichick.
former Patriot who never played for Belichick.
Oh, so I can't go Drew. So
Right.
I mean, do you really
quarterback's out?
Is Grogan really much of an upgrade?
No.
Jim Plunkett?
No.
No?
I'll take Mac.
Okay.
Good to know.
Why? I'm nothing if not impartial.
No, I just I don't know as much about the old Patriots quarterback, so.
How about since we just lost Jack Jones, we'll take Mike Haynes.
Yeah, Mike Haynes would be good.
Take Mike Haynes.
Yeah.
Stanley Morgan, maybe give him the.
There we go.
Field stretcher.
Yeah.
Receiver.
Stanley Morgan
Should be in the Hall of Fame.
20 yards per catch, something like that. Crazy.
Tip
it.
Yeah, Tip obviously.
You know, but like when you just think about need right now, what player would?
Well, Anthony in Seattle would definitely say Mike Haynes because we just lost him.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why I said Stanley Morgan, because I get that receiver, that game-changing receiver.
Stanley Morgan's a good one.
Yeah.
Russ Francis, Ben Coates. No, Ben Coates. Ben Coates may have played. No,
No,
I don't
think
Ben
so.
Coates did play for
No.
Belichick. They cut him that year, and he played for Baltimore.
John says the debris field could be from the submarine. If there was a leak at low depths, it likely imploded. Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. Because you need that pressure on the inside, because of the you're 2.5 miles down. If you don't have that, the thing will be crushed.
Yeah.
So you wonder. Yeah, that's. Oof, what a way to go.
Not good.
Oh my goodness.
Not great, Bob.
What a way to go. It's like.
They had it
so
coming.
you spend $250,000 and you're in this tin can with these people you don't really know, and now you're going to die with them.
You got what you
I
deserved.
I wish I could see like the waiver.
Would it be the same if they went to space?
No, because that's cool.
Conspiracies that this was all on purpose to kill the billionaire that's on there is insane right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really?
That's awesome.
They're leaking all this old interviews and stuff.
You know what? Politics don't ever change.
I also
don't
like,
ever change.
Just want to know what the waiver would have said before you got in that thing.
Right.
I feel like you can't even really sue anyone probably from whatever they signed to go down
what?
there.
No matter what happens,
Yeah.
we're not responsible.
Yeah.
Come at your own risk. Let's see. Who is this? Doesn't say. Eric would not like that.
Doesn't say where.
Here's a hypothetical for you that I'd like to get your opinion on. How would Brady have done in Mac's exact circumstance? Drafted where he was and playing when he did with these same Patriots teams. Oh, I'm sorry. He's from Savannah.
So
My
essentially,
apologies.
With the same issues as like Patricia and stuff, like the same exact scenario.
Same scenario.
The first year.
Yeah. Well, everything.
I think
So the first year, I mean, if long as we're just going to play Fantasyland, I'm going to say they would have won the Super Bowl.
Right, because he had Josh McDaniels. Yeah.
Valid.
I mean, they won 10 games with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Brady won the Super Bowl in a similar situation with
Yeah.
a lesser team.
Do you think the 2001 team was lesser?
Yeah.
Oh. 2001 team had 2 Hall of Famers on it.
And how many are on this one? We don't have any idea.
Any?
No.
0.
No. This is all Fantasyland.
Slater.
I guess. yeah,
Slater.
I mean,
No, the 2001 team was, I'd have to give it some thought to go player for player, but it wasn't an overly talented team. It wasn't. I mean, it was.
Well, turns out defensively it was.
It was Brady.
Yeah.
Like the same. I love Drew. I don't think they were going 11-5 and winning the Super Bowl if Drew played quarterback.
defensively though, that 01
But they
team
were good.
was loaded. Right? I mean,
Richard Seymour, Ty Law, Teddy Bruschi, Ted Johnson,
Yeah, but that's
Mike
what these-
Vrabel,
but, like a lot of these
lawyer.
guys, that's what they turned out to be.
Right. Well, we didn't know it at the time, but these were
They weren't
great
that
play-
at the time. That's my
okay,
point.
So, but like if Christian Gonzalez ends up being Ty Law, is your point, right? Like you just
Kinda.
you just don't know.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that
That's
could
fair.
Now
happen.
that's obviously an Andy Hart-like exaggeration. It's hyperbole.
Or Kyle Duggar could be as good as Lawyer Malloy, right? Maybe he is already as good as Lawyer Malloy.
Yeah.
Or
I
Marcus
guess.
Jones continues to be the most versatile player
now
in the NFL.
that was a team that I think wasn't a Super Bowl caliber team. That's all I'm saying. Like I don't think that was an overly talented
Well,
roster.
certainly not. When
Were
you
they
look
more
at the offense.
To Evan's point, were they more talented than the 2021 Patriots? Probably, yeah.
Well, when you look at the offense, they weren't. I mean,
No, they had nothing on offense.
But that was also a different era.
Totally different
for
era.
offense.
Right.
Totally different era. I don't know if, let's go pro Mac side now. That was the anti-Mac side. We'll go to the pro Mac side. I don't know if Brady would have been ready to throw the ball as much as Mac did as a rookie. You know,
Yeah.
even though they had better receivers. I mean, all that team really had was Troy Brown.
Yeah.
right.
And Pat.
J.R. Redmond,
Patton.
Wiggins.
Well, Antoine Smith was the offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But
It's
like
just
if we're
such a
going to
different
extrapolate it to
time.
now, you can't just hand the ball off to Ramondre Stevenson every single play.
Right.
Right.
That's what that team did.
It's just such a different time. And I feel like the greatest show on turf, like they were ahead of their time. Like that's how everybody plays now, not how everybody really played back then. So
Yeah.
It's a fun exercise.
yeah.
Spee and Fresno, getting crushed in a submarine at depth is an insane way to go. For each of you, what's your most and least preferred way you'd want to go? Oh, God. Morbid.
Most preferred.
I mean, I want to
way
go
is
fast.
in my sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd hope to
Yeah.
not feel it, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
You just go in your sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best way. If it has to be tragic, airplane, I guess.
Oh, God,
Oh
no.
no.
God, no.
No.
Yeah.
That's like my worst nightmare.
Yeah, I don't want to suffocate to death. I'd rather just have it be an impact. Boom, it's over.
But the airplane, like the whole way down,
Yeah,
you're like, I'm gonna die.
You
I don't want to know. I don't want
You
to know
make
what's
peace
coming.
with yourself, at least you're not
No.
suffering. Mentally, you're suffering, but not physically.
I don't know.
I think it's worse.
I'm terrible with flying, so I'm the wrong person to.
Yeah, maybe in a shootout. That would be a way
Fred,
to go.
that's
Wild
also,
West.
No,
Suddenly,
no.
you
Fred.
got the psycho on the other side of the glass. And, yep.
Tried that.
Oh my God.
You were unsuccessful, I take it.
No, I won.
Oh.
To the contrary,
Hoorah.
I was quite successful.
Yeah.
I would say the worst ways to go to me are burned alive.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Ooh.
That
Yeah, the suffering.
number
Yeah.
one, and then drowning would be
Ooh.
number two. So I guess plane would be number three for me technically,
Right.
The burn, like to me, the burning alive, that's both of them, because that's a mental thing, because obviously you don't just all of a sudden spontaneously combust.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the building you're in is on fire. You're trying to get out.
I don't know.
You
With all
realize
the
you
Miller
can't get
Lights
out.
you drink,
Yeah.
I don't know. You might.
Well, if it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
I think you're totally dismissing the mental part of like.
I know.
burning alive is.
We're flying. We're at 30,000. We're gonna hit that mountain. Like,
Yeah. No, not good.
Not fun.
Yeah. Rick in Dallas, to answer the emailer's question, the Philadelphia Eagles fan base is the worst in the
That's
planet.
a bad one too. That's what I'm saying. I think there's a lot of really.
Yeah.
obnoxious
But
fan
again, at
bases
least
out there.
they've won.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not
Right?
saying that
Like-
Buffalo's not the worst. Maybe they are. Like
Philly,
I don't really have much use for the Mafia.
Philly's bad too. Philly's bad.
I
too.
firmly
Philly,
bel-
Dallas, Pittsburgh, like Green Bay. They're all.
But see, I
obnoxious as hell.
like Pittsburgh's fan base because
they won something.
They're
Yeah, but
obnoxious. They've got a tradition, and they don't, like I tell you this all the time, Paul. You listen to those national radio shows, the sports
Oh,
shows,
God,
and
you're
win
right.
or lose, the Pittsburgh fans don't go away. They don't go silent when they lose. They get on there. They take their comeuppance and
The only ones I
but
wouldn't
they're
put in
always
this
fans.
category are the ones that don't have a fan base,
yeah.
like
So,
the Rams,
Washington.
the Chargers. Oh no,
Right.
Washington, they're bad.
So we did just announce the training camp dates.
Okay, what do we got?
So first 3 days of Patriots training camp will be July 26th, July 27th, and July 28th. All open to the public. Time TBD. Shocker.
And what are those days? That's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I believe so.
Okay. So we
So,
don't know the weekend.
Does
then.
that mean, yeah, like will we have the Saturday off and then practice Sunday, or will we practice Saturday and have the Sunday off? Because one of them will be off.
So what? The rule. There's the rules about pads, right? Like they have to wait a couple days.
I think it's 3.
So those 3 days will be pads or will be
Will not be
non-pads,
pads,
and
right.
then the day off, and then pads.
Yeah, I think the first 2 was strictly helmets. Then I think they could put the shells on maybe, and then I think the 4th day is the first day.
Right.
Of full pads.
Getting back to the fan email, he says, I firmly believe there is a special place in hell somewhere between people who talk in movie theaters and people who sit in the right-hand lane at a stoplight because they're going straight when everyone else behind them is clearly trying to turn. Those are the Eagles fans. I can't stand them.
Okay, wait. To stay on this topic, and I actually posted this on my Instagram story, I think my biggest pet peeve, which instead of the right-hand lane thing, people in the left lane, which I have seen more of it here than I have anywhere else that I've lived, and I've lived in like 7 states. People in the left lane who drive the exact speed limit or below and are causing so much traffic.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not good.
And like you see people go, and then you see people going around you, and you're not getting the memo. Like,
Well,
okay, why are all these people going around
And
me?
you live in Providence
You
now,
need to
right?
do the aggressive pull around.
Well, yeah. It just
There's a way to do it to let the guy know.
You make a point. It's like Paul putting the sub in the middle of the. You do it with attitude.
Just to be clear.
Yeah.
There.
I have never seen
No,
Boston.
I see
but
it
but
more
no, but
here
but here's the
than
thing.
anywhere
No,
else.
but
It's a
you
different
live in
animal.
Providence.
But I see it.
The Providence, Rhode Island drivers are the worst drivers because the state is so small they don't get enough practice.
What is going on?
I've heard this one so many times.
I have
It
never.
still makes me laugh every
I have
time.
never heard this.
They're terrible
But
drivers.
it'll be crazy because like
don't get
I'm
enough
thinking
practice.
like there's so much traffic and I'm like, okay, is there a car accident? Is there construction? And then I get up to it and I'm like, it was just some person
yeah,
in the left
just
lane
some
holding it
jerk.
up.
Yeah.
Yep.
There is
And
a lot of traffic in Boston that you never get. not that you want something bad to
Yeah,
happen, obviously,
yeah.
but you never get like, oh, well, that's why.
Yeah. There's
You never find out why.
Although this morning I did have one coming in. I had a that's why moment. So,
Yeah.
but
There was a guy upside down 2 days ago when I was going
my
home.
God.
Car completely on its
Boston,
roof.
New York City is a totally different animal just because of like how fast everybody drives.
Plus the
and
sheer
it's-
volume.
It's just
Yeah.
crazy. But I lived in L.A., Boston, and New York City, which are like notoriously the three
Right.
worst traffic and like driving. Nothing compares to Boston.
Really?
Boston,
You think Boston's the worst?
The worst.
agree.
Worse than L.A.?
So LA has more like legitimate traffic.
Yes.
But I think it's just because of sheer volume.
I agree with Evan. I think that both New York and L.A. have so many more
Yes.
cars to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
The
Well, that's
problem
why
in
it's
Boston
worse.
is the roads.
Well, yeah.
The roads are designed so poorly that they create traffic.
The roads and the attitude of the drivers.
Yes.
Like LA, everybody's like chill, right? Like there's never a bad day.
Because everybody's high all the
It never rains in California, right? But there's just so many people, and the only way to really get around is driving, and so the roads are just jammed because of that.
Right.
But the a-holes behind the wheel combined with the traffic in Boston takes the cake.
Yeah.
By far the
There's
worst.
a lot of pet peeves because, believe me, I sit more time than I would like to in traffic. Tamara's thing about the right lane is annoying. The emailer said
Yeah.
the slow driver in the left lane
Yeah.
is annoying. When you're in traffic, okay, so let's say you're moving, say, 20 miles an hour. You're on a highway. You're moving, but obviously there's a lot of traffic, so you got to go slow. When you're behind a guy that refuses to catch up to the guy in front of him, I don't know why it bothers me so much.
Right, you're not going anywhere, but still.
But it's allowing everybody to cut in front of that guy.
Right,
It just
right.
feels like you're getting slowed down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it really, really bothers me.
Let me
Yeah.
see. This
Pull up to the guy in front of you. Don't ride his bumper,
You know what bothers me?
but pull up to the guy in front of you.
It's the guy who, it's always a guy. It's the guy who, when he's going to make a turn, but first he puts on his brakes, then he gets to the turn, then he puts his blinker on. Buddy, it's the other way
so
around.
now you're talking like in town. You're talking about city driving.
Yeah,
now.
you put your blinker on first,
I have a whole separate
then you
chapter.
get there and you put your brake on. You know,
whole separate chapter of things that bug me about that. There's
I
just no,
need to know what you're going
there's
to do, not what
absolutely
you're doing.
No courtesy whatsoever
Correct.
in the city. Like when you're driving, and I'm not even talking about Boston. I'm talking about whatever town that you live in.
Yes.
It's all civility has completely been lost.
That's
Nobody lets you go ever
no.
anywhere.
No.
That's the difference between LA and Boston traffic.
They let you go.
LA is everybody's nice.
Everybody's chill.
Everybody, oh yeah, you go ahead, right? Boston, it's you get the bird, you get the honk, you get.
I like to use like a very simple rule of thumb. There's a couple of them. One is if I'm driving down a street, like let's say I'm on the main street and I'm just going, and someone's trying to get off a side street. I almost always look in my rearview mirror.
If there's no one,
If there's nobody behind me, I go.
Yep,
Right.
same.
If there's a few people, usually I slow down, stop, and let the guy out because
Right.
I know he's not
You're
getting
never
out.
gonna get out. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like first man to the intersection has the right of way rule.
Right.
Like if I'm trying to get off a street onto another one, and I'm waiting, and this car's going both ways, and I always see a car approaching,
Right.
who's going to take a turn,
Time
I go.
to go. Right.
You wouldn't believe the amount of people that refuse to let you go. They come into the turn going like 35 miles an hour, and if you go, you're getting T-boned.
So this brings up another pet peeve of mine: people not knowing how to use roundabouts.
Oh yeah.
This
They're
drives-
called.
We call them rotaries.
They're called
here.
rotaries.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah.
Like, if you're in it, you don't need to yield. You just keep going.
Right.
The person that stops in the middle of the rotary is a problem. She's
I
right.
am like, what?
That's another problem.
What are you
She's
doing?
right.
What are you doing? Yeah.
She's right. That's a
Called
problem.
a rotary, though, just for the record.
It is a rotary.
I don't know what a roundabout is.
We call it roundabout.
What's a roundabout?
A
The cartwheel.
roundabout.
Not
But
the way I
I
do
just-
it.
I was
I
very
can't.
offended yesterday. I was going down 495 and there was a car in front of me and they were smoking and the person threw out their butt.
Oh,
and,
no.
And
Did
the
it
butt
land-
it went and it hit the windshield. I don't know why, but I felt like I'd been spit on. You know, like I was like,
Did you
like,
chase him down?
No, but
Tell
just-
the truth.
But it's like, you know, how dare you?
It wasn't
You
like
know,
the guy.
it's like
wasn't
a
like
little,
the guy in the parking lot.
little
that you wanted
cotton
to fight?
filter hit my windshield. But I was like, how dare you?
Do you
Yeah.
use your horn, Fred?
Rarely.
I
But
would,
I
agree, I
will.
would agree. Rarely.
Yeah, rarely. Yeah. It's what's the point?
I'm a horn user.
Yeah.
I-
Are you?
Oh,
I could see you.
I could see that.
Little Miss Missy
I
beeping
could-
at
I would
everybody.
use it.
Horn
I would
user.
use it more, but I'm not going to lie. I'm afraid to. Like I just
Yeah,
never know
you never
who's out
know.
there.
You never
fair.
know.
Never do know.
That's
Yeah.
fair. I will only use if you come into my lane. Like if you're like one of the people who are like merging into my lane and you don't see me, I'm definitely gonna.
Oh well,
Yeah.
then that's a warning. That's
Yeah.
what the horn's for.
Right. That's
Say here I am.
That's
Don't
the
hit
only.
me.
That's
Yeah.
the only time I use
That's
it.
what it's for.
But not in terms of like a speed up blowing horn.
Yeah.
But if
No,
you're, like-
I would never do that.
No,
that.
That's
No.
scary.
That's when you do the aggressive pull around.
Right.
I also I have a whole.
Put the sub down on the table.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know.
And you've done it.
But-
I'm
Of course
sure you've
I have.
done it.
Of
I
course
mean,
I have.
Who hasn't done it?
I've even been in the left lane going like 80, and I see someone coming up behind me
That's-
going like 95,
Then
and I'm
you're
like, okay,
out.
I'm moving. Like,
I don't care if
moved.
you're going 80. If he's
Yeah.
going 81, you get out.
Yeah, so I'll see him coming up fast.
Right?
And
Am I wrong?
You're right.
But I still
I'll
say
move.
jerk. I still say jerk.
No.
Oh yeah. No, you know what I do? I get over and go, go ahead, tough guy.
Yeah.
No, but you know what
I give him a.
I give him the wave.
I give him a slow down.
Maybe I'm getting old, but you know
That's
what
what Beth does.
You know what
say slow down.
You know what
I
I
do.
find myself doing a lot now when somebody does something stupid,
Yeah.
just shaking my head.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that they're
Oh,
saying that. You know, like just okay.
He
That's
loves
such
to,
a
he likes
dad
to come
thing to
across
do.
like he's all above all this crap, and you're doing all of the same
Oh yeah,
stuff.
I just shake my head like
Yeah.
you idiot.
Okay, last thing. If you're at a stoplight, and so it's a car in front of you, the light turns green, and it takes
How long do you wait?
Yes.
Yeah. 5 seconds.
Okay.
Because
In
you're
Boston,
you're not paying. First of all, I find that
half a
very
second.
disrespectful. I find that very disrespectful because.
Did you ever see anybody who finds disrespect in more places
Oh
than
no!
Fred Curry?
Because there's other people trying to get through that light, and so now, you know you're going to get through, but like, what about the people behind you? And the other thing I hate is like, I look at distance between cars going through and the light. If there's a big distance between you and the
yes.
car, that's disrespectful too. You need to be on their ass. And get through that intersection.
That's in line with my keep up with the guy in front of you.
Right,
theory.
so as many people can get through as possible.
You don't have to ride on his bumper.
Right.
Just keep up with the traffic.
Love your neighbor. That's what Jesus would do. He'd be on he'd be on their tail so that the guys behind me can get in.
Wait, so I have seen at a turn signal, some cars will go like, okay, that car, once they make it all the way across the street, then the next car will go. I'm like, why are you waiting? Just you can turn with them.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Fred,
just
get out
it's
there.
weird.
No, we're finding out, Fred.
What?
It's just soap with a slot. She's interested in nonsense.
Oh yeah,
just not your nonsense.
Yeah,
it is in Boston. It's you have to anticipate the light turning green. Because if that light hits green and you're not already on the gas,
if you're downtown, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
you have to look around and like like this is the pattern, right? Like this one goes red, then we go, and you have to be on it.
But especially if if you see the head looking down, you know they're looking at their phone.
Right.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you give them the head jolts up. You know.
I will admit I'm bad about that. About looking at the phone at the red light.
I do all the time.
I'm bad about that.
I don't do it when I'm driving, like actually
No,
physically driving.
no.
But I always, if I know that a text came in,
Yeah.
and I'm at a red light,
Yeah.
or even if I'm on 128 at a complete standstill,
Yeah.
I'll peek and see
yeah,
what
but
the text
see,
was.
you should use the CarPlay.
I can't.
Why?
It doesn't work.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Oh.
It's like we worked that
It's
all
like
out.
a bit.
It was
Abbott
like
and Costello.
We worked it all out.
Who's on first?
I did. It worked for like the first, I would say, month and a half that I had the car.
Yeah, because then you can
And
do
then I
text
got-
by voice.
Then I think, yeah, I know. I understand how it works, Fred. My wife has it. But something happened. I think Will was like putting his
music.
And it knocked my, and I cannot
He
reconnect.
had
I
the
cannot
aux
connect.
cord. He had the aux cord.
There you go.
Yep.
Claire in West Midlands, UK. Hello, everyone. Hello, Marine. Quick note, I totally understood Tamara. We call them roundabouts in the UK, sometimes islands.
Yeah, we're not in the UK.
They call them islands?
Yeah, I guess so.
Jeez.
Drive on the wrong side of the road.
Leave it to the UK to not know what an island is.
Yeah. Rick in Louisville, easily, without a doubt, the driver that bothers me is the one that is on his or her phone when the light turns green. They know it's green and they still stay on their phone because they're not done doing whatever they're doing.
My bad.
Yeah.
You do that? You know it's green and you
No,
finish
no.
your text?
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Separately to like actually driving the car though, Boston has a real like parking tickets have gotten out of hand.
They give out a lot of them?
They give out. You cannot park someplace and like if your meter expires for like 5 minutes, you have a ticket on your
And
dash.
what is that, like 25?
So it depends
40?
on where you're parked. Some of them are 40.
Yeah, so I used to play the game when I was in college.
Tow truck drivers and meter maids, the two most hated people out there.
Yeah, well,
It's crazy.
I would never park at a place where you could get towed. But
No, me neither.
I would always park like in resident permit,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I always said like I could pay $50 to park, or I could roll the dice that I'm going to get a ticket, which is at most is going to cost me $50.
Right.
And I always if I would go into a Red Sox game,
Yeah.
I did it all. I would park on Montford Street.
Yeah.
Like I would do it all the time, and I would say half the time you get away with it. But I always felt like I was making out on the deal, because if I get it, I had to pay for parking anyway.
Yeah.
I might as well roll the dice, and maybe I get it
So
for free.
we used to have
Doesn't happen anymore.
Off of Boylston Street. I think it was behind Division 21. If you go off the side street, there was a parking lot behind there, and it was for people that worked at the T. That was like their park. But we used to park there at night, and we never got ticketed. Ever. It was like our private parking spot.
Okay, speaking
the
of
tickets
parking,
are out of control.
Speaking of parking, this is another thing. Okay, so say if you pulled up to a street where you could parallel park, and you could have the choice of leaving some room so someone else can parallel park, or would you park in a way that no one could park in front of or behind you?
No, I leave space. I park correctly.
Yeah, leave space.
I hate when people do not leave space. Like, they
Yeah.
park in a way where, like, they're too
Yeah, now
far
they're-
up to,
yeah.
like, someone couldn't park in front of them. And then also, it's just,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
just
people who
a
don't
mess.
park right, that's a whole other thing. You know,
we could do another show on the not parking right. The guys that have to back into spots no matter what, like
Me.
parking,
I have to back in.
like
I have
parking
to-
lot. I'm not talking about parallel parking.
No, I back in all parking spots.
But don't you get
at some point you have to go backwards?
But don't you
I
get
don't really
paranoid?
understand why it's better when you back into the spot.
But like if you're in a parking lot, like at a store or something,
Correct.
the mall, and somebody else parked like an idiot, so you have to kind of park like an idiot.
mhm.
You get paranoid. You know they're going to leave before you. Then the next person that comes in
What a
is going to
jerk.
think that you're an idiot.
Yep, that's valid. If you back into a spot like say here at Gillette Stadium, so you're not holding anybody up.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
there's nobody here.
Mhm.
Like you're in a mall.
Mhm.
And people are all, like at Christmas
Right.
time, let's go back a ways when people actually used to have to go to the mall.
Mhm.
Yeah, what's that?
You're causing traffic.
That's true.
Right.
Pull into the spot.
Just pulling. You don't have to pull.
You're going to have to back
in.
out of it. I get it.
Oh, you hardo.
But you're causing just as much time.
I'm going to be able to get out quicker.
And then
That's true.
It's easier to get out.
99% of the people
It
that do
is.
it can't, and they have to make a separate swing
Right.
to go back out, and they go back in.
But
So-
I like backing into the spot. I'm not gonna lie.
Same. Okay, wait.
I'm not telling you I've never done it, but I don't hold up
If there's
traffic
no
to
one
do it.
around,
Yeah.
but if not, just pull in.
Oh yeah, like
just pull in.
like your point. Out here when I come
Yeah.
to work, back in every time.
Yeah.
Well, a
there's
lot of
nobody-
people like to go around and they'll do the pull through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull throughs are dangerous.
That's
Got to
fine.
be careful
That's
of that.
fine
though.
too. Well, yeah,
They are.
Yeah.
'Cause somebody could be coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do a call. We're getting to the end here. Brett is in Western Mass. What's up, Brett?
Hey, how's it going, guys? First time, long time.
Thank you.
I had a quick comment and question regarding DeAndre Hopkins and Jack Jones.
Okay.
Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins, toured the facility and had a great visit. But I'd imagine both of his decisions on whether he's going to go to the Pats or wherever he goes is going to be based more on that than his kind of rudimentary, I want to go to a stable leadership and good defense. But within the context of those points, if Jack Jones is not playing this season, wherever the result of his action takes him, does that influence DeAndre Hopkins looking at the Pats as a desirable destination, and why it may or may not?
No, I don't think those two are. I don't think DeAndre Hopkins has any clue who Jack Jones is.
I can't
Respectfully.
imagine. I can't imagine that would impact his decision.
Nope.
Fair enough. Thanks for taking my question, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
If the
Brett.
Patriots offer more money than anybody else is offering, he's probably going
I
to come
mean,
here.
listen, D-Hop's been around long enough. He's seen guys come and go. He knows teams have problems. It's not.
It'd be if it was like, and I'm not wishing this upon anything with Matthew Judon, but like if it was Matthew Judon, then maybe you would say, oh, like
Yeah.
that's a factor. I seriously doubt that DeAndre Hopkins has any clue who Jack Jones is.
Chris with a TIAN says, I'm driving in Boston, and the majority of your complaints are happening to me right now. And it's
You're probably causing them, bozo.
And he says it's Division 16, Fred. Right. Not Division 21. Division 16 was the restaurant we used to go to. Eric, Paul, have you done a factory reset? It can reset Apple Play. Have you done a factory reset
Have
on
you
your
done
phone?
a factory
Factory reset on my phone?
Yeah, so
Or
what you
on
do
the
is
car?
Google your car brand and say factory reset radio, and
Okay.
it'll tell you how to do it.
I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Usually hold down two buttons for 10
you're-
seconds.
I can't even back up my phone anymore. I don't even
Your
know.
kids have to be able to fix this for you.
No, they haven't been able to.
Really?
You know, my son, who's going to be majoring in like digital media, told me yesterday, "quote I suck at techie stuff."
That's a disappointing thing.
Also, Eric says if you're first at the light, you have a responsibility to not be on your phone. And Instagram is a luxury for the line. I don't know what he means by luxury for the line.
We've had a lot of people speaking their own language.
Oh, I
today
see
on
what
the
he
show.
means. If you're back in the line.
For it back in the line.
You're back in the line, then it's a
Good call,
luxury
Freddie.
for back then.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just going to do what I want to do. Thanks.
I certainly don't
Jerk.
do any of that. I don't do any of that stuff in traffic.
I do a quick
I look at my texts and maybe if, like
quick Twitter scroll.
Like in a situation last week with DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Like I'm driving home. Hey, anybody? Have
Well,
any
that's like my
updates?
worst nightmare is that like something major like that is going to happen while I'm driving, because like we get paid.
gonna be good.
We get paid to react to these sort of things, and if I'm like on the middle of 93 and they sign DeAndre Hopkins, it's like, oh no, like what do I pull over? Like what do I do?
You pull over. Yeah. Do we have a Catch-22 coming up?
We do.
All right. So that's coming up right now with Alex and Evan. So stay tuned for that. Maybe they'll talk football, maybe more carb problems. But as for us, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast.